Well, we recently did a Adventure Lab workshop at the Deschutes Library in downtown Bend. So I decided to do a little follow-up and record a video. So we started out talking about the Adventure Lab and where you go to access the Adventure Lab, and you go to labs.geocaching.com. And once you're there, you hit continue, and that will actually log you into the Adventure Labs. So the first thing that's going to open up is your page, and you can see that we don't have any available credits, but we do have 12 completed adventures, and actually we have another one coming out before the end of the year. And it talks about what the qualifications are to receive a new player credit. Here, as you see, you need to have an active premium membership. You have to have no available player builder credits and no unpublished adventures. And at the time we did this, um, we had to wait until December 3rd, 2025 for the next adventure to become available to us. So that's passed, and we've already done another adventure lab. So the first thing we'll talk about is the player credit. So this one tells me that we have 5 locations that we can do, that the visibility must be public, and you can't use hyperlink. You can't put a hyperlink in a adventure lab. And no fees allowed, and no physical placements except if you do a bonus. Now, if you do a bonus, then you're going to have a physical placement. The next thing you need to do is put in a description. And in the description, you want to tell people, what they're going to get into, uh, what they have to look forward to. And here we're telling them that they have 2 hours to complete the adventure, and that they can park in the lower parking lot or they can park in the upper parking lot. And by the way, there's a bonus cache, and here's the GC number of the bonus cache. There's so many times we've done adventure labs and we've finished the lab and we get the bonus coordinates, but we don't know where the bonus is. So we always show the GC number of the bonus if there's one. On the right-hand side, it says that this particular cache is public, and if I were to click the little caret next to public, you could disable it temporarily. And it also allows you to edit it, test it, look at your statistics, reviews, get a printer-friendly overview, or you can even archive it. The next step in the process is to add a cover image. In this particular lab, we use the cover image of the very first lab. And then your adventure theme. So this is an art theme, it's educational, and it's a walking tour. There's many others that you could pick, but you only can pick 3. But you could have picked architecture, creepy, driving tour, so forth and so on. Then the next step of the process, and by the way, the images in the lab caches need to be at least 1125 by 1050 pixels. Otherwise, they don't show up very well. And there's the themes. And you only get 3. So the starting location is where you want people to start at. There doesn't have to be a location here or a lab location. In this particular case, we took people to one of the locations and also to one of the best places to park. And you can hit view on map and it will show you exactly where your point is going to show up on the cache page. And then it wants to know, is it sequential or is it non-sequential? So we highly recommend that you use a non-sequential lab. Sequential means that you have to do it in some particular order, which may not play into the geocachers favor. So by doing it non-sequential, then they can do it in any order that they want. We highly recommend that you do non-sequential. And then if I click on edit, this is the first point of the lab, the cutting board by Bruce West. And if you click on the pencil, then you can edit that particular cache. I clicked on the pencil. Here's what it looks like. This is the cutting board. That's the title, location, and then the cache description. And again, we talk about the sculpture, when it was made, how much it weighed, 2,500 pounds, and then talk about Bruce West. He was born in 1939, passed away in 2021, and he has several pieces of art both in the Portland Museum, the Tom McCall Waterfront Park, and the Auburn train station in Washington. Then the next step that it's going to ask for a cover image, and again, it needs to be 1125 by 50 pixels. You can select it, you can add it to it, and then this is where you put in the location coordinates. So in this particular case, the location coordinates for the first point are also the location coordinates for where people will see our lab when they look at it. And if you don't, once you hit view map and you put it, you look at your dot, if it's not exactly where you want it, you can actually grab it with the mouse and you can move it around. Next step we're going to talk about is geofencing. So geofencing can be 20 to 500 meters, and we usually pick 20 meters. That seems to work well for us. And a question. So at the end of the lab stop, you need to have a question. In this particular one, we did multiple choice. And the question is, in what year was the cutting board selected by the Art in Public Places? And the answer is 2011. And that's your multiple choice answer. You have to have at least 2 multiple choice. If you click multiple choice, you have to have at least 2. Then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a location completion image. Notice that it's asking for a YouTube video URL. Normally what we find is that a lot of geocachers don't like to do the URLs or the videos. And so we just avoid it. They just don't like it. They're not going to do it. It slows them down. Sometimes they might give you a bad rating if you have a video in there. So a multitude of reasons to skip videos. Location completion image, again, that same size. We always add a image at the end. We always put a location completion message. And it is optional, but it's nice to have. And here is the Culinary Center offers local diners a first-hand taste of emerging culinary creations, and bonus coordinates comes too. So this is where you would put your bonus coordinates if you were going to have bonus coordinates in one of the location completion messages. It's just a good place to put it. And then at the end, once you have your lab all built, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can test it out. So you can see, does it work? So if you click test, then this is where you get your coordinate. You can email this coordinate to your friends, or you can email it to yourself, or whatever you want to do to test it out, and just give it a test and see how it works. And if you look at the map, you can see all of the locations where the lab is. You can see that at the very bottom where you're going to park, and you have to walk up the hill to go to the rest of them, but it just gives you a good overview of what you're looking for. And once you're done with it, then hit delete test. So that's what it looks like. How to build an Adventure Lab, a PowerPoint presentation for a second, and show you how that works. So if I were to click on the Adventure Lab and open it up, and then if you can see that you only see adventures in the lab application. That's all you see. You don't see any other geocaches. But if you go to and when you go to your profile, you can see that you can see your statistics, my adventures, your postcard collection, and this gear icon. And under the gear icon, under Preferences, if you click on Play Nearby Locations and Location Preview, let's see what that actually means. So Play Nearby Locations looks like this. So you can see that the orange dots are the lab that I'm working on right now, but the other blue dots are other labs that are close by. And if I wanted to switch from one lab to another lab, I could just click on those blue dots and I could switch and jump to another adventure lab. The location preview looks like this. So when you're on an adventure lab, the preview will show you, this is Discover Your National Parks. We're going to show you where you're going to have to walk. And you can see that you're starting at where the check mark is, and then you're going to walk around. You're going to follow the river up and around, go to the other side of the river, then walk back, and then come back to your starting location. So that's what Play Nearby Locations and Location Preview look like. So what does that look like in real life? Well, if you were to use a smartphone app like Cachly or CGO or Geo, then you're going to see everything. So you see an adventure lab, you see a regular, you see an earth cache. As if I was driving down the coast or up the coast, I might drive right by. If I'm just doing Adventure Labs in the Adventure Lab app, I might just drive right by a geocache. So here I clicked on the Adventure Lab, the Cape Sebastian via Gold Beach, and I can view this information, I can navigate to the adventure, or I can view it in Adventure Labs. And if I hit View in Adventure Labs and I tab on that, it's going to open it up, and there you go. But that's all I see. I don't see anything else in the Adventure Lab. So I got to make sure that if I'm driving south on the 101, that I bounce back and forth to the Cachly application. And the dot that has the white ring on it is the beach wayside. If I were to click on See Details, and that would give me the details, or if I were to click the white box to the right of it, then that would bring up the next lab in the area. Or if I click on the blue dot, I could switch lab applications. So what else is in this profile? Well, statistics. It shows you our statistics. So 715 completed, 97 in progress, 12 adventures that we've completed. My adventures, this is our adventures, so our 12 adventures, and it would show what all 12 adventures are like. So that information is in there. And then if you click on the postcard collection, it's going to bring up all the postcards. Now, postcards for every lab that you complete, you get a postcard. So this one is It's the Water. This is created by Joy, and we completed it a few months ago. And then you can click on share, and you can actually send this postcard to somebody if you thought they might be interested in doing this particular adventure lab. So let's take a little bit of a deep dive and look at what it would look like if we were doing this live. So here's my phone, and let's go back up here to where we are live. And then I'm going to bring this over to the coast, because there's a lot of geocaches over on the coast. There we go. And then let's search this area, and there you go. So there's some that we've done. Here's one. There's at the Hasita Head one. We haven't finished that one yet. But let's kind of go up the coast a little bit, search this area. And again, what I want to show you is it's only showing adventure labs. So we might be driving right by regular caches. So let's take the Cachly app, and I'm going to come right over to Glenn. So there we are. And take a look at this. So you can see that there's a lot of, if I was just on the Adventure Lab, I wouldn't see all these other geocaches. But if I was going to Hasita Beach and I wanted to do this adventure, then I would click on it and I would say view an adventure lab, and it's going to jump over here, and then I can say start, and there you go. That's an adventure lab that we could do, and that was now if I click down here, you can see I can move it, and then as I move it, these dots move, and then there's the South Jetty, and then let's go here. There you go. There's that one. There's the Westlake. There's this one. Welcome to Syracuse. So you can see that you can go to all these adventure labs. And again, if I go back up to the door, then I can click over here, and then I can go and see. Now, if I wanted to go do one of these regular geocaches, I could say, okay, I want to do that. And then there it is. I can see the description. And I can look at images, which again, you can't do in Adventure Labs. Here's all the images that are in here. And then I can hit done. I can go back. So the main point that I'm trying to let everybody know is use the Adventure Lab application to do your adventures. Look at your profile. Make sure you have premium features on. Look at your statistics. Here we have some that are in progress that we 97 of them that we haven't completed yet. So why didn't we complete them? Well, there are a lot of reasons why you don't complete them. Let's just see if we can figure it out. Let's look at this Georgia O'Keeffe one. And if I remember when we were looking at this, we did all of those locations, but this very last lab was way out in the boonies. We were on a timeline. We finished this one and we just couldn't get to the overlook. So we never had a chance to finish it. So it just really depends on your timeline, right? That's all that depends on is your timeline. So there you have it. Again, navigating in here is pretty simple. The 9 dots will bring you back to this page on your phone, and so if you needed to go to photos, if you're looking for a photo, you could come here. There's just a lot of different ways, a lot of different things that you can do. If I go back here to the Adventure Lab, you can see that these ones that have the thumbs up are highly recommended. And this one was the Devil's Punch Bowl, and again, we did one of the spots, but we were on a timeline, so we were all the way down. We were down in this area. We weren't going north that day. We were actually going south to Newport, where we were staying. So there you have it. That's exactly how you use the Adventure Lab app to your advantage. Thanks for listening.